You don't need closure, you need clarity. You've gone over it a dozen times in your head. How long you stayed, how much you tried, how good he almost was. But you're not stuck because you're confused. You're stuck because leaving feels like failure. Not failure of the relationship, failure of your judgment. And when you've worked hard to become emotionally intelligent, emotionally safe, it's hard to admit when something just doesn't fit, especially when you built it up. If you're new here, I'm Davina Dandridge, author of Brains and Baubles, Do What Works for You, creator of the Emotional Sophistication Map, and this Brains and Baubles Live, where high functioning women learn how to think clearly, love honestly, and stop abandoning themselves just to keep a relationship going. Just so you know, I'm not a therapist and I'm not here to diagnose anything. I'm a woman who has mastered emotional intelligence in the real world. And now I teach women who are ready to become who they've always wanted to be how to do that with sophistication. Sometimes you're not grieving the person, you're grieving who you had to become just to hold the relationship together. I worked with a client, we'll call her Jasmine. Jasmine spent 2 years in a relationship that looked so good on paper. He had a stable job. He said the right things. She was the one doing 90% of the emotional work in their relationship. She initiated every repair or makeup conversation. She tracked his moods and being understanding when he ghosted her emotionally for days. She said, I feel like I'm coaching him through loving me. She was. And that sentence made me realize how much work women do to hold on to a piece of a relationship. Because so many women don't just want the relationship, they try to manage it, they try to maintain it, and they even manufacture it. And Jasmine wasn't staying because she didn't see the truth. She stayed because she wanted her effort to mean something. But love isn't a reward for endurance. You keep showing up, trying to believe the best, telling yourself he's trying, but maybe he is. But trying isn't the same as changing, and effort isn't the same as consistency either. You start lowering your standards just to stay involved with him. Then you confuse resilience with compatibility, and over time, even silence starts to become normal in your relationship. I'm going to tell you, that's not love. That too is endurance. When you stay in the wrong relationship for too long, you don't just lose time. You lose the parts of your future self, the version of you that was supposed to be free by now. Toxic hope is quiet. It sounds like, well, maybe things will shift. Or, it sounds like he's just going through a lot right now. It sounds like we've already come this far. If you're always the one extending the olive branch and attempting to work the issues out, then your relationship is imbalanced. Ecclesiastes 7:12 says, "Wisdom is a defense." Wisdom protects you from what you've already outgrown. It keeps you from trying to get back what you were never supposed to hold on to for so long. And sometimes wisdom says to you, this version of love is no longer what you want. Even when the memories are beautiful and it's fresh in your mind, that reality, that wisdom is what sophisticated empowerment is about. But you have to be open to hear from what's coming from inside. Jasmine finally made the decision to leave because she received clarity. She told me, I realized I was afraid of who I had become if I stayed. When you think about your future self, your actions that you take right now create the environment that is your future. Here's what I want you to ask yourself. What has this relationship cost me that no one else can see? Not what you gave, what you lost. Did you lose sleep? Did you lose self trust, the ability to feel soft? And did you misplace your future plans? Because that list is what matters. Because grief will try to romanticize what self awareness has tried to put an end to. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to walk away quietly. You're allowed to want a relationship that doesn't feel like work. And you're allowed to leave on your own terms. And you can do that without losing softness. If you know that you're ready to move differently, but something has a grip on you, go take the emotional sophistication map. You can do that at davinadandridge.com. It's not a personality quiz. It's an invitation back to emotional clarity. You get to see where you really are. And then I want you to drop a comment below. What finally made you decide to leave? Or if you're still in that relationship, what are you trying to convince yourself of? You don't need to be sure about what's going to happen next year. Just be clear about what's taking place today, because today is when you come back to focusing on your future self.